We got some hockey news out of Montreal. Jayden Struble just signed a 2-year extension, one-way contract, 2 years at 1.4 million per season. I think that's an excellent deal for the Canadiens. Basically, 1/3 of the average salary in the NHL. And honestly, if I truly believe that if Struble had played on certain teams, let's say San Jose, the last 2 years, he'd be signing a contract for 4 million plus right now, maybe long term 5 million plus. I truly believe that. I think he's been a victim of numbers game in Montreal, a very very strong left side. I mean, last year would have been the time normally that he would have secured a regular spot on the left side, but then Canadians bring in a kid that ends up being the NHL Rookie of the Year, and so he wasn't going to beat him out. It's it's a pleasant problem for the Canadians having so many good young defensemen, and Trevor Timmins and Marc Bergevin deserve some of the credit for that too. They did last couple of years. They realized that they needed to restock the defense cupboard, and they did draft a bunch of good young defensemen like Gooley and Struble, Trudeau, and signed Jack. So the restock, they did a decent job of restocking things before Hughes came in, and then they've only continued that, obviously adding Hudson, Reinbacher, and a bunch more, Engstrom. So Canadians are extremely strong on defense right now. Does Struble, how much ice time does he get this year? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know that he'll be a regular. It'll depend somewhat on how strong David Reinbacher is in camp, and obviously he'll be fighting with Arber Xhekaj for ice time. They could split time as the sixth defenseman if Reinbacher gets sent back to Laval. But I really like Struble's game. There were times in the past 2 years when I thought he was one of the two best defensemen on the Canadiens. There were games, there were stretches where he was better than Gooley. Certainly there were games where he was better than Gooley. So, you got defensemen at 22 to 25. Yeah, Gooley, it's assumed that Gooley will be better and have a better career, but it doesn't always go that way. It's still, they're still young. They still have played, both of them have played fewer than 200 NHL games, I believe. And at that point in their development, you just don't know for sure how good an NHL defenseman either of them are going to be. Obviously, Gooley's got the edge, and he's probably going to be a better defenseman, but you don't know that for sure. Struble is an excellent skater and physical, just like Gooley. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's really cleaned up his game with the puck and without the puck. He doesn't take foolish penalties like he sometimes did in college. I really like him. I really like his game, and I think that the Canadiens probably want to hold on to him because they might have a really good one. Like 2 years time, he could be a top 4 NHL defenseman. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. So I could see why the Canadiens are hesitant to, even though it seems like he's the logical choice to be dealt in any kind of trade that involving getting back a center that could be second line center. The fact remains that nobody offered them a good enough deal. I think he'd been gone by now if the Canadiens didn't think that he had that potential, because I'm sure there were teams that said, well, hey, we'll give you this guy for Struble and a pick or whatever. And Kent Hughes said, well, I don't know that the player in return ultimately has more upside than Jayden Struble. So to sign him 2 years under $3 million, I think is just, it's yet another great signing by the Canadiens, and in large part because they have such good young quality depth now, that if Struble had been playing the last 2 years regularly, he'd be getting a lot more than that. And because of that, they have some really economical signings of young players that is only going to help them down the road when more young players, their ELCs are up, their bridge contracts are up, and they're looking for bigger dollars. It's always good that you have some players signed that to really good deals, so you can still keep under the cap. So great news for the Canadiens. I hope Struble, he's a great kid too. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple times and meeting him, and super nice kid. I really like him, and I hope the best for him, whether it's in Montreal or ultimately down the road somewhere else.